views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello and welcome to Fashionistas. I am your host, Clarissa Bello. It is a pleasure to have you join us today. As you may know, we are reporting live from our home studio as we have all been affected with COVID pandemic. I do wish and pray that you and your families are safe and well. On today's program, we have a Latina and Peruana who is also the president of Italo Santiago Studio. For the past 2 weeks, Italo Santiago Studio has turned their production to be able to facilitate masks for healthcare workers and first responders. Today, we will speak to the president of Italo Santiago Studio. I would like for you to all join me in welcoming Jessica Taggart. Jessica, thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm really thankful for you and for letting me, show people what we're doing and maybe inspire other people to do the same. As we all know, everybody has been affected with this pandemic, and we are all trying to help in any way we can. So what we're doing right now, like you said before, our company focuses more on interior design. We are manufacturers for interior designers, and we turn our production and we started doing masks so we could help first responders, and people in the healthcare industry. So we're just trying to do our part.
Tell us already how you really started, Jessica. I think that what you're doing is a very important and phenomenal work that you are actually putting out there and supplying all this needs that there's a big shortage right now.
Like you said before, I'm a fashion designer by trade. I went to school to be a fashion designer, and I've done many shows and like Fashion Week, and I think I met you right around that time where I was still focusing on fashion, but then life took a turn and I had to focus a little more on the kids. I lived in Long Island, so Long Island is a little hard for the fashion industry. I had those dreams where you want to get your house, where you want to do your things. So I had to leave my fashion dream on the side for a little while. And I was lucky enough to find a job with an interior design workroom and learn everything about manufacturing, everything about interior designing. I've been doing this for at least 14 years now.
Wow.
And this is what made my dreams come true, kind of, And now that things are kind of settled, maybe I'll go back to my fashion at some point. I love to create, as you know. So maybe one day I'll go back to that. But right now, at this moment in time, I'm just focusing on trying to help as many people as we can. And we are so lucky that we had a lot of people reached out and donating, money for us to keep doing this. One of the people I worked for, Paul Siaka from Frank's Decorating, he donated all the material. And so far we have made about 1,000 masks, and we're planning on making a lot more in the following weeks and try to help as many people as we can.
As a small minority business, I'm sure that you said, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm just going to do this and knock on people's doors and see how we could figure this out. Can you tell us more about that experience?
When all this happened and all of a sudden we all lost our jobs pretty much because we are considered non-essential. A friend of mine called me this morning and she's like, Jessica, everybody needs masks. Why don't you start making masks and selling them so you can, provide for your family and I'm like, oh, that sounds like a good idea actually. So I started doing my research, and when I went online and I saw these people, trying to get them, for hospitals, and I was like, I told my friend, you know what? Let's make these masks to help people first, and then God will provide. I know that. you know. So I called Paul. He gave me the material right away. My friends watched it, other friends cut it. Then that weekend we started making a few samples. On Monday we were already hands-on at the shop, making them, you know, as fast as we can. We're not experienced on making these masks, you know, so we were just trying to figure out a way of making them faster, but at the same time making them effective, you know, for whoever needs them. That's how we started. And then after a few days of working at the shop, we were told we are not allowed to go out anymore. We ended up building a shop here in my house in the back so we can continue doing it. And my cousin who lives with me and the girl who works with me, she's still coming to my house, and we're working. The three of us are working, and now we're making about between 150 to 200 masks a day between the three of us, and we're just trying to give them to whoever needs them, you know.
Can you tell us a little bit about the mechanics of the different masks that you were able to make?
When I first started doing with this project, I actually went to the website because I got an email from Mr. Cuomo's office, and so I went to the link they sent me. And the only thing that they mentioned about homemade masks is that it was gonna be like the last resource, but it still was gonna be needed because they have nothing. I know that they have to be made out of cotton, and a lot of them they use to cover their N95s that they already have, so they can reuse them, you know. So if we can do that so they can reuse their equipment for a little longer, you know, that's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to help as, you know, as much as we can. So the first one we came up with is this one. I'm going to show you now. This one we made out of cotton. And when we first started, of course, we had elastic, so we started making them with elastic, so it's easier for you to put them on.
Nice.
Okay, it has a nice fit, but at the same time, we realized that it takes a lot of work because, as you see, it's like it has a lot of seams. You know, it has a pocket because we were thinking if we make a pocket, they can put a filter in here. And we found this non-woven material they use for the surgical masks. And also Paul donated 2 rolls of this material. This is the other mask that we made. Is the non-woven material. I don't know if you can see it here, but that is the material they use for surgical masks. And we added the elastic. And of course, we ran out of the elastic and nobody has it anymore. So we came out with our third model. This is the fabric one with the ties. So we started making both of them with ties. This was our other option. And then this is the last one we came up with. Is the non-woven material. So now to make it easier for people to put it on too, it's like we're practicing as we going, you know. So you just put it over your head, and then you can pull this one and make it fit it, and just tie it in the back. So this is the last one we've been making, and these are the ones that are going out right now. And we actually got another message from Senator Martinez, and she's sponsoring us for another 2 days of production.
That's very nice.
Yes,
that is a blessing.
It is. Actually, I woke up this morning to a friend's message. He's like, I want to buy these masks. And I'm like, I'm not selling them. You know, we're donating them. And he's like, Jessica, I'm desperate. His company actually is a cleaning company, and they clean hospitals. And his workers are at risk because they are, you know, in the middle of the whole pandemic, and they see patients going in, going out. And he's like, I'm desperate. I'm like, just, you know, I'll make some for you. You know, and he's like, you know what? Make 1,000. I'm gonna give you $1,000. You know, just give me 500. You keep the other 500 to keep donating to other people who needs them. You know, so it's just amazing how many people has come together and try to help and try to do. You know, I have friends offering to run to the post office for me, taking the boxes, and it's just amazing.
How do you get the filters to go in And where do you actually get the filters, right?
Since we got 2 rolls of this non-woven material that it filters a little better than just cotton, what we do is we cut, for every mask we make of the cotton ones, we cut like 10 or 15 filters. So we send them with the filters out of this material.
When they need to get refills, where do they get them if you're not able to send additional refills?
We're going to be sending, I don't really know if they sell filters for masks. This is a new thing we just came out with, because of the shortage. And if they need them, we can always cut more for them. We still have a lot of material, thank God, and we can still cut more filters. But yes, like you said, these cotton masks, they can just wash in the washing machine and dry them. Even the non-woven material, you can hand wash, so you can reuse them. You can hand wash and let them air dry, so you can give them a little more than just one use.
We will take a quick break, and when we return, we will speak to Jessica and how she has been able to not only send and donate these masks locally, but also to other parts of the United States. Stick around, to go anywhere. Welcome back, Jessica. Now, you started this out of the heart without any funding, and you have been able to have people calling you and asking that they wanted to donate so that you could continue with this godly task that you felt doing. Tell us how many masks. I know that you mentioned that you've sent out over 1,000 masks, but talk to us about those healthcare workers. Where were they sent? Those healthcare workers and those responders, first responders.
I have many friends who are nurses actually here in Long Island. I have a friend who's a nurse in California. I have a friend who's a nurse in Florida. Obviously, they were the first ones who reached out to me. So I sent some to a pulmonology center in Florida where my friend works. Another one in a hospital in California. I can't remember the name right now. We sent about 50 to Stony Brook through another friend of mine who owns a boutique here in Patchogue. We sent some to Brookhaven Hospital. We sent some to the NYU Lamborn Cancer Center. Then we sent some to the Bristol and East Norfolk. We've sent some to the Medical Arts Radiology in Patchogue.
That is incredible.
Yeah, some to Morristown Hospital in New Jersey. We've sent some to actually a factory here in Long Island because they were forced to work. It's a mailing company. They had over 20 people working at the same time. So I sent about 40 to that company to try to, protect the employees as well. So, and now I have somebody else from a Fountain House organization. They are also they got 50 masks, and we donated some of the material too because they have seamstresses that can be making masks for them. So that's how we're trying to help them a little bit.
Who are these other companies that are just jumping in? How are they finding out about the great work that you're doing?
One of them is a good friend of mine too. He owns an attorney firm, and he saw this through social media. So he reached out to me and he said, Jessica, I'm willing to help you. Just let me know what you need. And I said, well, we're really donating these masks, and the girls and I are not working. So if you want to help in any way, maybe I can pay the girls to come and do this for, so they can make some money to support their families as well. So he says, you know what? Yes, I'm gonna donate money so they can work, let's say, a whole week and make another 1,000 masks. And so he did it. He donated the first $1,500 to the organization to this cause. So nice. So we can keep doing it, and at the same time maybe just pay some bills.
This whole pandemic has kept everyone away from working, and I know that this is hard. This is a financial strain for everyone, and what a blessing that you're doing this right out of your heart, and God is just providing for you, for your team, to be able to catch up. Look, I know you have children, you have a family, and I'm sure that those that your team does as well. So this is the good way to pay back.
They're very happy because they weren't really thinking, we weren't even thinking we were going to get anything. We just said, let's just do this because it's the right thing to do. You never know when we're going to need these, when we're going to need hospitals, when we're going to need nurses and doctors, and we just need to give something. If we can, we're going to be home anyway. We might as well do something for these people, and they need us. And like we said, since day one, we said God is going to provide, period. And that's it. And we left it to God.
Do you have additional companies such as supermarket or any other essential workers that have requested for any of your products?
What we're going to do after we're done with my friend's company, the cleaning company I told you about, because they're cleaning hospitals and they really need them. After we're done with those, we're working on a few hundreds for Senator Martinez. She's going to be supplying different healthcare centers and hospitals here in Suffolk. So that's our next task
Your next project. Wow, that sounds
next,
like
next project.
it's going to be a lot more.
Well, I'm getting calls like every day, even close friends who have like elderly parents, they want to protect their parents, and so I've been making some for them too. And well, I've been getting phone calls from everywhere, my church friends, my co-workers, close friends, you know. So we're just trying to help as many people as we can. And of course, supermarkets will be our next after we do some for the senator, we're gonna try to focus a little bit on supermarkets too. But our main focus is healthcare and first responders.
Talk to us about how your team has been able to go through this process from changing from the studio into the house. Has that created any differences in like the work setting?
As we all trying to keep our social distancing, what we did is we brought one of the machines, one of the industrial machines from the shop, but we were only able to carry one of them because they're heavy. So we're using like our home machines that are a little slow, but we're trying, we're doing it with so much love that we're making it work. Somehow we're making it work. We brought Paul actually helped us bring like a 5x4 piece of wood. So we put it on top of a table. We created a cutting table, and we have those two machines to work, and we're just making it work.
Now, the amount of materials, where do you get the materials? Is that locally, or does it come from another state or outside a country or another country?
Well, we use at the interior design workroom, we use a local vendor for the drapery lining. And that the drapery lining we use happens to be 100% cotton. So that was Paul's first donation. It was a roll of 100% cotton that we started washing and cutting for the first mask we made. And then we found this non-woven material online. And when I showed it to Paul, he's like, fine, I'll order 2 rolls so you guys have more material. So, and then now we have a lot of material. And somebody else from New Jersey, a guy that somehow somebody connected us through Facebook. He drove from New Jersey to Long Island on a Sunday night, and he brought us a roll of 100 yards of elastic out of nowhere. How's that happening, right? How's that happening? It's just God.
Now, was it hard for you to kind of create these masks at first? I know that you have to cut them a certain way, and I know that there's different mechanics of the cutting and the strings and all that stuff. Was it hard for you at first or not?
What made it so much easier is when I started doing my research through the CDC online, they actually have a website where you can download the first pattern. So the first pattern, I just downloaded online, and I printed out. So that's the one I gave my friends to help me cut, and then I was watching different like YouTube tutorial videos to see other models. And I just made 3 samples the first day to see which one we liked first. And we really like the cotton one better. Even though it's a lot of work, it really fits better. So we say, okay, we're going to make this first, but it takes a long time. We don't have so much capacity of production. So we said, what, we just have to go with the simple ones and try to make more so we can help more people.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jessica. It was a pleasure to have you. I wish you nothing but the best, and that you could continue to make and supply and fill in the gap with all these needs that we have out there. How can we contact you?
I can be contacted through my Instagram page at Italo Santiago Studio, or my Facebook page also is Italo Santiago Studio with any requests, or if they want to donate, if they want to request for donation, they can reach me through there.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And of course, don't forget to follow us on social media at Bella Fashionistas, and of course, our media partner, BronxNet TV. For more of our programming, please do visit our websites at www.bellasfashionistas.com and, of course, our media partner, www.bronxnet.org. Have a great day. Take care.